Everybody ready?
Yes.
Ready.
Okay, I'm filling in for June. I'll try to be as charismatic as her, but it's going to be difficult. Big shoes to fill, people. Okay, so June couldn't be here. She sends her regrets. She, I guess she's participating in her grandparents' weekend with Delaney, so she's very sorry she can't be here today. So I hope everybody's doing well. I wish the weather was better, but I can't bring the sunshine. But I'm here instead, so. So the council wants to send a couple best wishes. The present significant other, Sue, we wish her a speedy recovery. So send her our best wishes.
Thank you.
And we're sending around cards for everybody to sign for her. And also Brian, we're sending around a card. Brian Hughes, a college council member, is not, I guess he's not doing too well. I'm not really sure what's going on with him. I guess I don't know if he's in the hospital or not. He's home, but he was sick, so we're sending around a card for him, so if everybody could sign that too, we'll send off cards to both of them. Okay, we called to order the meeting. The second thing is we gotta approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second, okay, and then we can go right to the chair's report. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that. It's right there.
Right.
Okay, so the resolutions are included in the packets. Nicole was gonna talk to you about them. We'll do that at the end of the meeting. The other thing that the resolutions we'll do at the end of the meeting. The next thing we're gonna talk about is the resolution's only 22 days away. And the council would like to extend congratulations to all the graduates and appreciation of those members of the campus who are helping organize the ceremony. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at the commencement. Everybody's probably going to be going. Okay, so I want to thank everybody for their service that are involved in the ceremony, and I want to thank you, Kat, too, for your service for SGA. We appreciate you for everything you've done this year, all your hard work. And then the next thing is we'll go to the president's report.
Very good, and I can be very brief because you've got my written report. I think the most exciting thing is we've got two new deans joining us shortly, and we are I want to express so much appreciation to both Steve Markesi and Walt Conley for service, extraordinary service. Steve as he heads towards his retirement, and Walt as he gleefully heads back to the classroom. They have very large shoes to fill, and I think we found some folks who are going to be filling them differently, and very excited about them. We just concluded the interviews for a vice president for enrollment management search. We should be ready to make an offer in the next days. But they
search committee is meeting Monday to generate pros and cons for that year.
Very good. But they were it was an incredible pool. We had wonderful candidates. So I think we've only got excellent choices there. Happening on campus this weekend is Multicultural Weekend, when we bring prospective students up from New York City for a couple of days to learn about what Potsdam's all about. So if you see large numbers of high school students wandering around on campus, please do give them a warm Potsdam welcome, and my thanks to Callis for his co-chairing of that incredibly important event.
Might snow this weekend. So
It might, but you know, if you love, we've had bad weather for all of our major open houses and yield activities. So if you can love Potsdam during this weather, you can love Potsdam in that day when we have sunny weather.
And so far they've had both or all, as Alex has mentioned.
Yes, we have. We had a minute of sun and we've had some rain. So very recently we had the pleasure of having Chancellor Christina Johnston on our campus, along with Provost Todd Larson and the Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees, Meryl Tisch. They were here as part of the University Faculty Senate plenary, which we held on campus, and I couldn't have been prouder of our campus. All three left, I think, very favorably impressed with the quality of our shared governance, with the amazing talents of our students, and our extraordinary faculty. So looking forward to continuing extraordinary work with SUNY, and very pleased that they were able to see our campus. Finally, I'll just say this is yield season for enrollments. It's a tough enrollment season. So, you know, as you wander in the community and you see folks who are thinking about college, one of the best things that you can do for this campus is to remind them what an extraordinary value a SUNY Potsdam education is. And we are, you know, continuing focus on making sure that every student who's accepted has the opportunity to come to SUNY Potsdam. But I'll be honest, one of the challenges is that so many students don't have the financial resources when they're accepted to be able to come. So we're working very, very hard on creating opportunities for financial support for our students, and to find ways that prospective students can afford to come here. So we look forward to enrolling our freshman class. We've got actually a pretty nice group of transfer students, and graduate enrollments are coming back as people are understanding that there are really good opportunities in education. And finally, I will just say one word, LOCO, only I'll repeat it over, LOCO, LOCO, LOCO. We're entering 10 days of just explosive arts energy on our campus. So I do hope you'll come back to campus for any one of the amazing events that our students, faculty, guest artists are putting on. And for the very first time, LOCO is going to go downtown tomorrow. So in the snow or the rain, but all right, we'll be downtown. But I think that's just one more way that we can show Potsdam's commitment to our community. And so with that, I will turn it back to our acting chair. That's what we'll call you, our acting chair.
Does anybody have any questions for the
Just
president?
a couple weekends ago, Kristen,
Yeah.
you talked about at the foundation meeting,
Mhm.
the $2,500 gap.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yes.
done for this body.
Yeah, let me share a little bit about that. The average student has about a $2,500 gap, and thank you, Roger, for asking that. About a $2,500 gap between what their financial aid can afford, what their personal contribution is expected to be based on their family finances. So that $2,500 gap for many students means the difference between coming, staying, or either not coming at all or stopping out. And we know that one of the worst things that can happen for students is to start a college education, accumulate debt, and then drop out, because then they don't have the added boost that college degree gives them in terms of income. We started a program with the foundation asking folks to consider making a $2,500 gift that really closes that gap, that can go directly to a student. We've had already the first two. I know one was already awarded, a student who had that gap and now is going to be able to come. But if any of you are so inclined, that $2,500 means the difference between a student staying, continuing, or living without debt, or worse, not having the opportunity for higher education at all. So thanks.
So if somebody was motivated to fund one of those,
Yes.
how would they do that?
How would they do that? They can talk to me, or they can talk to Sal Kenya, our foundation director, Sherry Paradis. You can talk to any one of us, either in the president's office or in advancement. But that would be an extraordinarily generous thing to do for our students and our potential students.
I know for myself and for many other on the foundation board, we were not aware of just how little makes the difference, and it's a critical difference in attendance or non-attendance.
Is that $2,500 a semester or a year?
Typically a year. I'm going to share a story of a student of Kim's. Kim had an extraordinary student in one of her classes this year, and I had the opportunity to meet this student when they were doing their final presentations for the class. The student blew me away. She was absolutely the best of what a Potsdam student can be. And she was a first-year student and yet showed such an extraordinary grasp of data, of presentation. She was amazing. Kim learned that it was something like $387. She just knew that it was that student had a gap, and the student wasn't planning to go home for Christmas. She was going to stay up and work in Kinney's to be able to afford to come back. And I was able to get that student in touch with an anonymous donor who just paid off. I want to cry thinking about this student. The student didn't know, and her debt was cleared. She could register for classes, and it made all the difference between that student being able to go home for Christmas with her family or continue. And she's an incredible student. So sometimes it's as little as $387 that a student doesn't have. Our students face tremendous food insecurity. We have a very widely used food pantry that has both fresh foods, frozen foods, and shelf-stable foods. And there are sometimes, for example, during breaks, when not all of our dining facilities are open, when students really desperately need that, or during times, right before financial aid might be dispersed. So students use that food pantry regularly and often, and it's a huge need for our campus. And then for professional clothes, our School of Education and Professional Studies, a group of our faculty was concerned that students didn't have the right attire when they went out to interview. And so they created a professional clothes closet so that students could have access to jackets, ties, belts, purses, suits, the kinds of things that will help a low-income student make a good impression on the job market. So our students have tremendous financial needs and extraordinary ability, and anything that folks in this room can do to help those students succeed is so valued and so welcome.
Do you take donation for
Is this a general fund
clothes?
that you're
yes.
sending the money to?
Excuse me?
Is the $2,500 go to the general fund?
Yeah, it goes to the advancement office, to the foundation, so that you can take it as a tax deduction if you do charitable deductions, and then they disperse it to the student. So it's a way that, because if you give it directly to a student, you can't count it as a charitable deduction.
So what's the name of the foundation?
It's just the Potsdam College Foundation.
College Foundation, Inc.
Yes.
Do you guys take clothes too? Like, do you take
For
professional?
professional clothes, yes.
Oh, okay, I didn't even know you did
Yes,
that.
this is
Okay.
new this year, and you can bring them to Satterley Hall.
108, or the dean's office, will
Yep.
find you the right place, but
Yep.
108 is a drop-off room.
Okay.
For the president's office, we've had people who have
Yep.
given us bags and
Yep.
we brought them over, so the next meeting.
And the food pantry is in Dunn Hall. But again, if you're struggling to find your way to the food pantry, if folks have things to drop off, I'll make sure it gets there.
Donations too, that way they
Yes.
can purchase exactly what's needed. for
Yes,
that.
which is incredibly
They do
helpful.
a special account for the food pantry, through the foundation.
Yes.
So again, you can do it through charitable giving.
So for like the 2,500, could you make like time payments like monthly or?
We'll take anything you have.
Yes,
Okay?
yes, yes.
Yes.
I thought I knew that answer.
But if you don't mind, I'll have Sal get in touch with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank
Any
you.
other questions or concerns or comments? Okay. Next, we're going to have a presentation for the Summit Leadership Program from Ruth and Kelsey.
Thank you.
The best place to stand. We have some technology, so thanks so much for having us here today. For those that don't know me, I'm Ruth Polisella. I'm the Director of Campus Life and the Associate Dean of Students. And with me is, thank you, is Kelsey Sixberry. She's a 2018 alum of Potsdam and also a Program Coordinator in Campus Life. And the both of us are on the Summit Leadership Program Committee, and we're excited to talk to you today about the launch of our program, which was just this semester. So it's very new, but we're excited to share with you what we're doing and some of our goals for the future. So with that said, I'll start with just overviewing a couple of our goals, our two main goals. The first thing that we're trying to do is recognize and enhance the learning that's already taking place through co-curricular activities. And by this, we mean largely student leadership roles. So all of those students that are already engaged on campus are club leaders, RAs, OLs, PDAM mentors, tutors, athletes, all of those folks. We're trying to provide opportunities for them to really reflect on the things that they're doing and how those leadership skills really are creating for them those transferable skills that will help them in any career as they move forward. We want to take those already engaged students and elevate their skills by enhancing the activities and trainings that they can go to, all tied around 11 career readiness competencies, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And finally, we're really excited to start using student leadership positions as applied learning experiences, where students can use that leadership role that they may be in as an internship site where they're applying their learning. So that's our first goal. Our second goal, of course, as always, is to get more students involved in co-curricular activities and leadership programs. So our strategy in doing this is to look at all of the outstanding programming that Potsdam has done for years and continues to do that fosters great learning for students. And we're trying to look at that whole picture of things and strategically package programs under a variety of themes that would relate to students' interests, things that they find meaningful, that relate to college priorities, and also that will enhance them again in the career market. With that, we're trying to do some recognition initiatives for them if they do participate in the program, and we're doing that in one way through digital badging, and we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail later. So those are our two goals. The next slide is showing you our competencies. These are our 11 competencies that we've built the program around. These are derived from two places. One is NACE, which is the National Association of Colleges and Employers, and the second is the CAS Standards for Student Leadership Programs. So if you look at these competencies, there's not a lot of surprises here in terms of the things that all employers agree are the things that they're looking for in any person that they're going to try to hire. So this transcends any occupation, any area. These are things that employers are looking for. So what we're trying to do is develop our program to meet these competencies and to deliver to students more experiences that tie to these competencies. So yeah. Okay, so there's two ways for students to participate in the program. Before I overview those, I'll just say that the program is purposefully designed to be self-paced. So really, a student who's really into it can complete something in a semester. If they're committed, they can do that. They can also take their time. For whatever reason, they take a year and a half, they can do that. So it's really up to them how they want to work through the program. So there's two ways to participate. The first is our specialty badge program. This is kind of a mini program. So these are designed to be 8 hours of learning around one of those 11 competencies or more, but generally around one of those main competencies. So the student will dedicate 8 hours of learning to that, and they'll also do a reflective activity. So really key in this is helping students create those aha moments of all the things that they're already doing and what are the skills that they're gaining from that. So we were excited this spring to pilot a couple of different programs, and I'll highlight a couple for you. One is our mental health first aid program. This is something we're really excited about. Our counseling center staff is doing this. They went to a training to become trainers on this program. It's an international program, and it's essentially CPR, but related to mental health issues. So we've been training faculty and staff on campus, and through Summit, this is something that students can do as well. What's been interesting in the pilot semester is some of our best attended workshops have been around things that are related to mental health awareness, healthy behavior, which is really exciting and a good thing. So the mental health first aid is one example. Our career services office has developed a badge related to career management. This is the perfect thing for every student to do. So it's taking you through all of the various things that would help you be successful. Resume writing, networking, cover letter writing, professional correspondence, all of those things. Another one that I'll highlight is the From Passion to Action. This is coming from Dr. Jennifer Mitchell in the Writing Center. And what's cool about this is it's a really great writing experience both personally, but also related to advocacy issues, how writing can be used to promote any type of cause. So those are just a couple of examples. Oh, I should highlight, we're in the works with a social justice badge coming out of the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. We almost have all of the workshops developed for that. Some are offered now, so that's coming. So that's our specialty badge program. The second program, oh, I forgot about this. So these are our digital badges. Let me take a moment to highlight this. So the way that we're doing some recognition for students is that they can earn a digital badge. So here's an example of one. We are using the college's merit page system, which we've had for years, and we do this when we're issuing things like President's List, Dean's Awards have badges, other things do as well. So this will add to that. So here you see Naja. She works in our office, so she let us use her page here, and she earned the mental health first aid badge. So you can see over here, it's small, but hopefully it gives you a sense. It will have all of the wording that talks about the competencies gained, the skills learned, and all of that. And then the students can, highlight that badge on their other social media sites, so Facebook, LinkedIn, that kind of stuff, to show to employers the things that they're doing. So that's one example. All right. So the next program, so we have the specialty badges, the minis, the 8 hours, and then we have the E3 Summit. This is our macro program. So this is a 60-hour program for completion, and there's 3 different parts. And remember, this is self-paced, so a student can take as long, as they want to work toward doing these things. So our goal here is to provide breadth of exposure to all 11 of the competencies, and it's important to kind of highlight the breadth aspect here. Those competencies are lifelong development. A student isn't going to go to one workshop and be like, yep, I've done leadership, I'm done with that. No, this is for your whole life that you're going to do it. So we're trying to kind of set that tone of constant learning, that we're going to give you some broad exposure, we're going to encourage you to do more and to continue to do more as you move on. So we're doing that breadth of exposure to all 11, and then we're providing an opportunity for students to really kind of dig deeper into one of the competency areas that's most meaningful to them. So we're trying to deliver 3 things with this: leadership development, applied learning experiences, and career marketability. And those are each of the 3 areas. So we'll go over them very briefly, but one by one so you have a little bit more information. So the first component is our Explore Leadership Development Program. This is what we have piloted this spring. So with this, we're trying to deliver broad exposure to 8 of the competency areas. We're doing this by having 8 workshops that students have to go to. 3 of them are required content that we think are essential for every student. But the remaining 5, there's lots of choices for students to fill those competency areas. And that's purposeful because we're really marketing this as having them find their own path so that they can take workshops and things that are really of interest to them that will help them in the future. In addition to that, we're really trying to get students to take that next step to get involved. So for an engaged student already, as Kadi and Kals can tell you, they're doing these things as part of their regular experience being a student leader. They're attending these things already. For those students that are not yet engaged, though, it provides them an opportunity to do some of the things that we used to really only offer to engaged student leaders. And the second push is we're trying to get them to do something beyond the workshop. So they have to dedicate 10 hours of time to some involvement opportunity that they select that's meaningful to them. It could be a club or organization, it could be a service opportunity, it could be being a TA, very wide open of what they can do. And they have to reflect on that experience and tie it back to the leadership and team building competency to kind of, again, connect those dots for students. So the second piece is the engaged and applied learning. This is the deeper focus one. So this is focused on one competency, and it's the critical thinking and problem solving competency that we're wanting students to work on in this. We're really hoping that the campus will develop many different tracks for Engage on a variety of topics. So everything from sustainability, social justice, healthy behavior, and the list goes on. So with this, applied learning is the focus. Students will be expected to design and implement an innovative project where they are solving a real-world problem that they are coming up with. So our first offering of this will be in the fall, and it will be a leadership development offering, and we will be using those student leadership positions as an internship site. So they'll be doing workshops related to leadership and experiences with leadership with me. This will be my program that we'll put out, and then they'll be able to use that actual site to apply their learning in it. So that's Engage. And the last piece is the Expand, and this is the career marketability piece. So this is back to about 20 hours for students, 8 workshops, and they're focused around career development areas, professionalism, work ethic. some of the experiences that students would be engaged in here is resume development with review, they'll have a mock interview, they'll be doing some informational interviewing. We're going to be working with the alumni office to develop a list of alumni who would be willing to be informationally interviewed with our students to kind of give them that experience. They'll have to do a presentation to their peers, and they'll do a final culminating debrief meeting where they'll kind of reflect on everything that they've learned throughout the program. So I have a handout for you, but I left it over here. I'm going to go grab it. So this has been our marketing piece for the program this semester. It will give you a sense of the kinds of workshops that we've offered. So I can just pass those around if people want. Go over here too. Yep, thank you. So yeah, that'll give you a variety of things. This really, I think, is the tip of the iceberg because we're out trying to get more programs that we know are happening on campus to be included within this program. So we've got that. The next thing that I'll highlight just very briefly is we implemented a software system to track student participation in these activities. We call it Get Involved. The cool thing in addition to the things that it will do for Summit is it's a great tool to market campus events and clubs and organizations. So Kelsey's going to show you the site. I think it's coming. Okay, here we go. So you can see here is our events calendar. Can we show it the other view?
I think it's just really small.
It's really small. Okay. So in any event, you can see all of our events here. You can see some of the local events happening. If you can scroll up a little, Kels, folks can search by various themes for the events that they're looking for. And if they're looking for a summit program, if you go to the next category, let's say they're looking to do summit, oral and written communication, for example, they can click that and it will show them the workshops that they can go to that fulfill that competency. Very quickly with organizations, if you click to that, all of our clubs and organizations have pages here. We're going to show you the Way has a great page. So you can see a lot of information about the club. Students can hit join to get involved. There's photos and all kinds of cool things for them now. The same system is available through a free app that students can download so that they can have that on their mobile devices. So that's a very brief look there. And the very last thing is, starting in the fall, we'll be implementing a student involvement record. So all of the things that we're tracking for students in the system will be able to be highlighted on an involvement record. So this will include everything from club and organization participation, leadership roles, applied learning experiences, awards, all of those things. So we're hoping that it will be a great resume building tool for students. Students that we've shown it to have been really excited about it, so we'll be working to get all the information loaded for the fall. That's our program. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them.
And it's true that students can search events by whether there's free food available.
Yes, they can search by free food and free stuff.
Yeah.
So, which is always good. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Ruth, it seems like you're trying to coax people outside their customary comfort zones.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
How do the digital badges work with SUNY? Is any of this transcribable, or is it just digital?
So,
I just don't know how that works.
right, so there is so much discussion with that right now, so there's not a good answer for that. I think schools are developing different local policies for that. Most of the writing for SUNY is around academic focus things, and because ours is co-curricular, it's a little bit different. They haven't gotten quite to that place yet, but our hope for Potsdam is the student involvement record that I passed out. That's where we would list summit completions for our students would be listed in that record. Yep.
I'd just be interested in a report next year about this time and where we're at with this,
Yeah.
how it's being received.
I just wondered, Kelsey, have you done some of these workshops and?
I've been to a few. It's just to help out with the event check-in and stuff, and they've all been going really well. I've heard a lot of great feedback from the students who are participating right now about how it's really helped them develop these skills and kind of get out of their comfort zone and meet new people and connect with more like faculty and staff that are putting on the workshops. So I think it's been a great experience for everybody.
And Kelsey, we got a PIP grant to do this program, and Kelsey has been the full-time person that we've hired to help us do the PIP. So she has done so much work building the site and really doing everything to get the program off the ground. So.
I'd like to add that the best thing about this program is that it doesn't just focus on what you're learning academically or your leadership positions. It also focuses on your health, So there are some sections in there that you can go to a yoga class, And as for me, yoga wasn't a thing that I've been doing, but with this with this program that was there and it being something that I could get something out of or that it could be a part of something more, I saw it as an opportunity for me to go out there and do that. So I think that just the overall, versatility of it all is just really amazing, and that it focuses on all aspects of student life and student leadership.
I forgot to mention for the E3, we're trying to have a recognition for students that ties to commencement. So for students that complete Explore, and we have about 20 in progress. I don't know that they'll all complete by this semester. They'll earn a cord for commencement that they can wear. And for those that complete Engage, they would have a stole. And for people that complete the whole thing, they would have a medallion, budget pending, or pin, something along those lines.
Any other questions or concerns? Okay, thank you very much.
I'm going to suggest that as soon as Steve gets back, Madam Chair, we adjust the agenda to go to the action items before we have the reports, given the fact we only have 5 here anyway.
Yeah.
Some of them
Yeah,
here
that's
need to
good.
leave early.
You want to do the resolution?
Yes.
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 We'll
Okay,
need,
Nicole.
we'll need Steve back.
Yeah, I don't. You should be just a minute. There's just a couple of resolutions.
If it's okay with the chair, I just put a motion out for all 3 resolutions.
Yeah, let's do all of them at the same time, that makes sense. Got 3 of them.
Should we test it?
We're going to need him.
Yeah, we have to have them.
He's here.
Yeah, he's right here.
He's right here.
Right, so I have been asked to present the resolutions to the council, so it's an honor to do that today. So the first resolution that we have is for H. Carl McCall, who is the chairman of the SUNY Board of Trustees. He has recently announced his retirement. H. Carl McCall has a very long history of public service in New York State. He was the first African American to serve as a New York State comptroller. He also served 3 terms as a New York State senator, with a variety of other leadership positions in the state. He has tirelessly advocated on behalf of the students, faculty, staff, and alumni of the college and of the system. Locally, we have a great relationship with Carl McCall. He has served as keynote for our local government conference. He's been a guest lecturer in our political department, and he is a true friend of SUNY Potsdam. So this resolution today is to commemorate his service to the state and also to the campus, and we wish Chairman McCall a very long, happy, healthy, and well-deserved retirement. Anybody like to add anything for Carl?
If I recall correctly, he was also the Secretary of State for a while. I think I recall.
And I know he was also was an ambassador to the UN, is that correct? Yes. But he's been very supportive of our campus. I think he came up during the Loco Festival last year and I think left very impressed with the quality of our students and just the extraordinary activity on our campus. So his retirement is a loss for our campus, I think.
But he will definitely remain a friend of the college. Yes, great. Steve, can I have you join us at the table? So our next resolution is for Dr. Sieff. We're glad that you could be here today so we could honor you. Dr. Markesi has been a valued member of our Potsdam community for 43 years. He first started as a faculty member in the Department of Anthropology, quickly became department chair, that he held that position for 18 years, then moved into his former role as Associate Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences, and currently is the Dean and has been serving in that role for 13 years. Steve has a passion for liberal arts education and has strongly advocated for that throughout the years. And one of the things that I think all of us will remember Steve is when we see the low heat learning comments and those big letters. Steve has helped steward gifts and has built relationships with our alumni that will have a forever impact on our students, both current, future, and past as well. Steve has also developed a great partnership with our colleagues in Cuba, which has furthered our mission in international partnerships. He's a valued member of the Potsdam community and recently became an honorary alumni of SUNY Potsdam class of 2019. So as Kai said earlier, he will be graduating with the rest of the students in just 22 days. So Steve, on behalf of the council and June, who couldn't be here, thank you for everything that you've done. You have very big shoes that will need to be filled, and we thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Would any of the council members like to add anything?
Steve, would you like to, at the foundation meeting a couple weekends ago, you repeated a philosophy about departing. Would you repeat it for us?
Yeah, if I can remember it. It's a quote from one of my favorite philosophers, Winnie the Pooh. And it's how lucky I have been to be in a place that's so hard to say goodbye. And I really feel that way. This has been my home. I have had a very fortunate life here, and it's been just an honor to work with people like our administration, our faculty, and especially our students, and those of you who volunteer your time to make the college a better place. It's a place where we are encouraged to develop ideas, and they are taken seriously. And that doesn't happen every place. But this has just been an incredible experience, and it's going to be very difficult to say goodbye.
I have to wait.
Yeah, I don't think my office is big enough to share with the incoming dean. But I will, as an alum, I can come back for alumni weekend, and I'm not going to be far away.
Well, you'll be next.
Well, thank you.
See you at the alumni meetings.
So our next resolution is for Dr. Walter Conley. So Walt has been a member of our community for 19 years and was recently asked to leave the ranks of faculty and join the administration to become the interim dean of the School of Education and Professional Studies. He thought he was signing up for 1 year, but we twisted his arm to stay a little bit longer because he was doing a fantastic job in that role. He went above and beyond the expectations of an interim dean. His vision for the School of Education and Professional Studies and for the college is amazing. He has been integral in helping with our strategic planning efforts. And one of the things that really stands out about Walt is his integrity and his commitment to the student experience. He has helped to develop some new academic programs. Currently, we're working on the school building leader program, which Walt has had a big role in that, and we'll be very happy to see that on the books, hopefully here soon, so we can have lots of people enrolling in that program. So Walt will be returning to his role as faculty member in the biology department. So maybe the council wants a presentation on all of the great work that you do with students out in the field. Maybe next year we'll be knocking on your door. So Walt, thank you so much for your leadership, not only over the last couple of years, but also for your tenure here at SUNY Potsdam. It's been a pleasure to serve with you as well.
It's a nice space for episode.
I had to. So congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. And as you know, I'm going back to my first passion, which is the classroom. When I have wonderful students like Kadiatu, who's a former student of mine. But as I often describe this, it was hard work with great people, and I feel that was true. And I am very proud of the programs we went through and with Penny's leadership, so thank you for that.
So I'd like to present the 3 resolutions for a vote of the College Council.
I'll make a motion that we move all 3 of those resolutions.
And I'll second with pleasure.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, and now we will proceed to the SGA report. Katiato.
All right, thank you guys so much. And firstly, thank you for your generosity. I mean, it has been an honor to be on this board. I mean, this is really a big privilege for a student like me, and for all students, I'd say. So I know that Calais is coming in to a good team, and to people who are here to listen, and people who are here to really help our school. So thank you for that. As you know, I'm sure you've read what I wrote in the report, so I'm not going to go in detail into it. The 3 main goals that we really have tried to reach this year was in regards to, was 1, transparency, 2, social justice advocacy, and 3, student engagement. So these are efforts that we really tried in and that we have seen improvements in, and we're really proud that, we got these changes and these things to happen. And best of all, I have to recognize our clubs and organizations, because they're what, they're the students who are really committed to our Student Government Association. They're the ones who are putting up the events, 4 to 6 events on a daily basis. They're the ones going to competitions and getting us the medals. And so it is really important that we recognize them and that we express how happy they make our campus and the kind of environment that they bring to us. So we're really thankful for our clubs and organizations. And this year we actually got 3 new ones. So one of them, they're all listed there, but we got 3 new clubs, so now we're at 83 from my last count. And so moving forward, we do have a new e-board. As of right now, we have Calais, who's here with us. He's the new Student Government Association president. And then we have Amber, Alex, Kara, and Kiara. And all of these students have extensive experiences within almost all departments on campus. And they've worked with many kinds of students. And so we're really confident that they will do a great job, and perhaps even a better job than we have done. So we're really thankful and are glad to be training these kinds of students. So our old board, they do give you your thanks. So the vice president, as I'm sure you recall, is Anea, treasurer is Amani, comptroller is Alex, and secretary is Bailey. And they have done a phenomenal job. I mean, every single week we have about 2 meetings that are mandatory. We have our Senate and our Assembly. And in our Senate, we have almost every single club, a treasurer or representative from every single club to show up, and they're there to work on bills, they're there to express their views, and just really help us out in making this campus a better place. And so we really do recognize them, and we even have stoles. Cords. We have cords for all of our treasurers who have served for a year within our Senate, because it's a big job. They're there every single week. And as for our presidents of every single Student Government Association club, we're also planning on recognizing them and hopefully doing something for them to recognize their hard work. But not lastly actually, so we have an Sga Picnic coming up, and I say this because previously there was somebody, I think it was, I forgot who mentioned it, but somebody in the council mentioned that they wanted to interact with students, and I took that to heart because I recognize that, hearing me is important, but also for you guys to connect with more students is also a really important measure, and I think they would also appreciate that. And so for this year, we won't exactly be having a professional kind of setting where you guys can interact with them, but we do have an Sga Picnic coming up. It's going to be on May 3rd. And if you're available around here at that time, please, by all means, you're available to attend. We're inviting all of you. I can send the official flyer to the president or Nicole, and any one of you can share it with them. And hopefully moving forward, we can try and coordinate sometimes that when you guys are here, we're having an event where you guys can meet a lot of our students. So I'm going to be connecting with Callis on that to see that perhaps next year when we're having our major events with all of our clubs and organizations, that you guys are able to be there and also interact with them. And honestly, this has been a really amazing journey. I mean, this is the best decision that I think I could have ever made. And it's precisely because of the extra faces, the extra help, and the extra advice that I was able to get from many people. And also the fact that I was able to give back to a lot of my fellow students. And I think that, I haven't worked with different kinds of students, from Res Life to the Center for Diversity, to the Counseling Center, to now the Student Government Association. I've had the chance of interacting with many students. And I know that although you're not here to really, you haven't really seen most of them, but I can tell you that these students are amazing. My fellow students are amazing. And I've had the chance of also going, meeting almost every single, not every single, but meeting a lot of students from the 64 campuses that we have within the SUNY system through our SUNY Student Assembly meetings. And I've also had the opportunity to travel to, Morocco, where I studied abroad in Al Akhawan University. And I've met students who went to Oxford, met students who went to Emory. And the one thing that I can tell you is that I'm fully aware of how amazing SUNY Potsdam students are, because of our ability to interact with many students, because of our versatility, and the fact that what we're doing here is something that is very unique, in that we focus a lot on the student voice, and we focus a lot on connecting and making communities. And it's something that I have found that not many other students from different campuses are able to experience, that I've personally experienced on a personal level. And so it's really just brought me to this one conclusion, and a conclusion that I think that as an alum, a future alum in 22 days, I can fully say that I'm a proud SUNY Potsdam alum. I'm not afraid of wearing my, I'm gonna wear my Potsdam pride everywhere I go, precisely because I know, and I'm sure the people that I've met now also know of the special things that we have at Potsdam. People that I can sit on this table with you guys, and you guys can hear what the students have to say, and you're able to volunteer your time to be with us and to help us out. And I think these are really unique connections that I've been able to get, and so as well as my other fellow students. It's something that I really appreciate. I thank you a lot. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Excuse me. In listening to what you do,
Yeah.
how much time a week do you spend just on the SGA's activities, and how much time do you spend actually trying to study?
The honest answer.
I don't know how you pull them all together.
The honest answer is I usually don't leave campus until 8. And that's and I arrive at 8 a.m. So I come at 8 and I leave at 8, and that's because I leave off campus. So I don't know how many hours, especially because there are some things that you have to do on the weekends as well. But I try to make time for all of it, because academics is important to me and it's important to my parents. So I try to find a balance, and I think that balance is really good. And I also think that because of the hard work that I've had to do, is allowed me those skills, that in the future, whenever I have to do things, I will be able to manage it well and still get it done. So it's been a lot of hours.
You've been involved in the group since you got to Potsdam?
What?
You've been involved with the SGA since you got here?
Yes, since my freshman year, I was a co-founder of the Muslim Student Association, so that was a club that's a part of the Student Government Association. So, yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You
And
you got some big shoes to fill.
And he has a lot of experience too. And I want to thank you for your comment in the beginning of the year, where you commented my report. I think that really did encourage me to continue to do better in that, and so I really appreciate that. And I hope that you guys give him the same kind of compliments, because it really was encouraging. So thank you.
Well, we thank you for your service and we wish you the best of luck, but I don't think you're gonna need it. Great things for you in the future. I think you're gonna do really well. And good luck to you too, Callis.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the faculty report. Kim.
Thank you.
Bouchard.
So I think you received the report itself, so I'm not gonna necessarily go over it point by point, but and also to add a few things that have happened since then. We did pass and approve the Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science yesterday, so that's wonderful that will go to President's Council, the final approval. We also, earlier in the year, and Dr. Conley can talk some more about this if you have some more questions, we approved the Certificate for Advanced Studies in Educational Leadership. And that's a really interesting program because it's in collaboration with SUNY Plattsburgh. So it really demonstrates our willingness to work with our sister institutions and also provide important certificate and studies in areas that are really needed up here for, particularly in public education, and to provide those certificates for people to go then into superintendencies, building leadership, what they call SBL.
School building leader for principals and school district leader for superintendents.
For superintendents. So it's really a great program, and we're really pleased that we're housing it here. So that's it.
Really needed too.
And needed, yes.
We will work with Tom Burns.
Okay, good.
The other significant action that we took yesterday was the approval of a diversity attribute. And that's setting up institutionalizing at SUNY Potsdam a way that we can ascribe what we call an attribute, which is attached to courses so that students can easily search for them. So attributes exist for general education courses, they exist for courses within interdisciplinary programs like women and gender studies. And this one allows then students to be able to search for what we call diversity-rich courses. So we've been able, working with the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office along with what's DIAC? And DIAC stands for
Diversity Education Action Coalition.
And they have a subcommittee that's dealing with curriculum and with faculty, or issues around with faculty. Did a very good job of putting together a program that was unanimously approved, which was wonderful to have that happen. So that was the other action that we took. On May 2nd is when we will culminate 3 years of work that's gone into developing the new general education program entitled Potsdam Pathways. And it's both innovative, which means therefore it's controversial in many ways, but it's also a very synchronous moment because the SUNY system has initiated through now what's called a green paper, I believe, a new call for campuses to review their general education programs across the board. And they're looking for innovation, applied learning, interdisciplinary opportunities, and diversity. And wonderfully, we hit those all with our new general education program. So we are well ahead of the curve, and in fact, we'll be able to provide a real model for the rest of the system. So maybe even be able to garner some funds because what has been put together by a very the whole campus really has worked on it, but particularly the General Education Steering Committee. So after 3 years, we will be having a vote on May 2nd, next Thursday. That's an endorsement vote for the program. At that point, it will move forward to the President's Council for final approval, and then looking at how do we implement. And the implementation program is going to take a number probably at least 18 months to 2 years to implement. It's a big change from one, it is the most massive curriculum on campus. It affects all three schools, so it's quite an endeavor to even make it happen. But I'm really proud of us as a faculty to the point where we've gotten to now. And there's been, I think, many opportunities for faculty to be able to have input on it too, so. The other exciting thing is that we just heard about some new minor programs, and Dr. Marcus, you may be able to speak more to those that have come to Faculty Senate. 3 new minors from the School of Arts and Sciences: Public Policy and Administration, Public Policy and Homeland Security, and Latinx and Latin American Studies. And those would all be minors that would make some interesting pairings with other majors on campus. So I think we're looking ahead to next year to some really exciting new curriculum that's going to be developed. I did mention in my report, and I'll reiterate that we did just hold elections for a new chair as well as a new university faculty senator. Dr. Blair Madore from mathematics, who's been the vice chair up till this year, will be the incoming chair of Faculty Senate for 2019 through 2021. So he will be coming here as doing the reports for you. And Dr. Jan Tribula will continue for another 3-year term as our university faculty senator. Also, most of the positions were filled and are in our standing committees. So there's a sense of, I think, renewed commitment to faculty governance and shared governance on our campus. And a lot of that has to do with our administrative leadership by certainly President Esterberg and also our Chief Academic Officer, Provost Bergeron, who encourage us, right, and are welcoming. Many times when I've had the opportunity to meet with them, where I feel very open to express ideas and suggestions, and not only do they listen, but sometimes they agree. Most times we agree, actually. It's been a real pleasure and privilege for me to work with such outstanding leadership of our college, so thank you very much. I also thank you. I don't know if I can quite say it as eloquently as our wonderful student Kadiatu, but we really appreciate your service, what you do for us, how you serve us, and so without the kinds of compensation, right, you do it out of the goodness of your hearts and because of your commitment. So thank you very, very much. It's a privilege for me to have been able to be here these last couple of times, to come back and be able to be part of this group as well. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for your support. So,
Thank you for your service.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Any questions?
Any questions?
I would just like to comment what it was.
Excuse me? We don't get paid for this?
I just raised you 100%.
Got breakfast, you didn't come.
You know, we said somewhere down the line we get paid for this.
Oh, okay.
I heard our salary doubled.
Could I just express my great appreciation for Kim's leadership? She's been an extraordinarily effective, warm, and engaging Senate leader, and I think we have just done a lot of really great work together this year, and just so pleased at the state of shared governance at SUNY Potsdam. Thank you, Kim.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. And I have to apologize. I have a class that I'm already a little late for. I have a teaching assistant who's very capable to move on, but I have to leave. So I apologize to those others who are doing reports sometimes.
Okay, and now we have a report from Academic Affairs, Eddie Bergeron.
Very brief, because I know that time is sensitive today, but I also want to echo my thanks and appreciation to Kim for taking the helm at a kind of a rocky time, and her leadership has truly been extraordinary. It's really a pleasure working with her and the team, so I want to thank you publicly as well. Thank you. And also to acknowledge the incredible leadership that Steve and Walt have provided on my team. I'm losing half of my cabinet, it's slightly scary, but it's just been truly a privilege to work with these amazing educators. They are inspiring, they're innovative, high level of integrity and creativity. It's everything that a provost really values in colleagues and deans. So they are going to be profoundly missed, but I wanted to publicly thank the two of you as well, so thank you. Two quick notes on the programs that Kim mentioned, just to update and to brag just a bit. The environmental science program has passed all the levels it needs to on this campus, but then the fun does begin with SUNY and SED. So that will need to go out for external review and all of that. Hoping for fall 2020 for a start date on that, but we do have a little bit of ways to go. One of the things I wanted to brag about with this program is that it's truly been interdisciplinary. So multiple departments have been working together on this proposal. They haven't been fighting about which department it sits in or who owns the lines or anything like that. And that speaks very highly of the leadership of Walt and Steve, who have both really supported the shepherding of this program. So our campus is really embracing interdisciplinary work in really interesting ways, which is so beneficial to our students, so I'm really proud of that. The school building leader, school district leader, that has had its external review. The reviewer was on campus this week, someone from Maryland, I believe. He was highly enthusiastic about our program. He kept mentioning how difficult it would be to fill out the part of his report that said concerns and issues, because he truly didn't see any with the strength of this program. One of the things that I want to, as a shout out on this particular program, and I was going through the paper for that, work for that, in the appendices is like a stack like this of letters from every single regional superintendent. So it's just makes me smile and makes me proud of the relationship that the School of Ed and Professional Studies does have with our community. That is our role as the normal school. It's our tradition of 202 years. But to read through those letters confirming that incredible partnership and support it was just nice to see. So again, kudos to Walt and his team for putting this together. Another very creative program as well that serves the needs of our region. So with that, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna skip to student affairs since these other business affairs and advancement are not here today, according to Nicole. So student affairs, Aaron?
Thank you. In the spirit of recognition, I'd just like to add my appreciation and thanks to Kade for her leadership in SGA. Truly, without any exaggeration, one of the best, if not the best presidents of SGA we've had in terms of representing students, being involved, advocacy for issues. So it's been great working with her, and I hope you do end up in higher ed, even if it's just for a year, but hopefully longer, because you've done a great job. So.
No, thank you, and thank you for always offering your couch.
Anytime. Again, I know we're short on time, so there's just two things I'd highlight from student affairs, one of which is not in your report, but we got word from the NCAA about receiving a grant that our athletic director, Sieff, had applied for. It's a Division III Ethnic Minorities and Women Internship Grant, and there were hundreds of schools that applied, and we were one of 5 that received this grant for diversifying our staff and for staffing. It's a 2-year grant, and we will are already starting to get together the posting and hire somebody to fill that to do a paid but administrative internship to help in a couple of key areas in athletics, and Sieff was really instrumental in doing that. And then the other thing to highlight, I believe I mentioned when I was here last time, is the really creative work that our Residence Life and Counseling Center are doing with our new Counselor in Residence program. In fact, we had 3 candidates here earlier this week. You may recall, I think I mentioned before that we are reconfiguring 2 of our positions within Residence Life, where they will no longer be traditional residence hall directors, but we're going to have live-in counselors that are going to live in the residence halls and work with our residential students afternoons, evenings, and crisis stuff on weekends. And I believe we are one of the first campuses nationwide to have a creative approach to serving our students' mental health needs this way. So
I want to recognize
thank you,
that.
but that's really Julie and Gina that have done that. So We had 3 outstanding candidates, and I participated in interviews earlier this week, and look forward to having that program started in the fall. So, be happy to take any questions about my comments or my report if anybody has them.
I'll note that Molly had to leave, are you?
Sure.
Thank you, Roger.
We'll now move on to diversity, equity, and inclusion report. Bernadette Sieff.
Good morning, everyone. I was looking at what I wanted to share today. I decided to go with the DEI strategic plan updates, and I'm just going to give you a few highlights on some of the things that have happened over the past 3 years. We created the DEI strategic plan back in November 2016, and if you recall, that plan was acknowledged by the SUNY System Office as exceptional and among the top 20% of all the plans that were submitted then. It's been almost 3 years, and I look at it as our history and our journey. Where did we start, and where are we today, and where are we heading? And so we started off with our diversity statement, and there was a 23-person task force that worked on our diversity strategic plan. We had campus-wide input from that. We had 6 major goals, 20 objectives, and 133 strategies. As of this semester, 81 of those strategies have had some kind of accomplishments under those. Some major accomplishments, and some that are going to be ongoing, a few that are just one-time accomplishments, and really significant accomplishments in so many areas. And a few highlights that I would just like to share. This complete document, currently I've been narrowing it down from 50 to 31 pages, and I'm still trying to really clean it up before I put it out to the campus. But a few major highlights. The first was our inclusive search process in collaboration with the deans, the provost, and human resources, and that has really been a good addition for the campus, and we've made significant progress in the recruitment and retention of our diverse faculty and staff as well. Our bias incident related issues. This framework to reporting bias-related incidents was built and restructured, and an additional component added to it as called the data report analyst to ensure that nothing falls through the cracks. We compared our bias-related incidents from 2004 to 2017 before 2018, and we've been down by 39.5%. We moved from 46 bias-related incidents in 2017 to 23, from 43 to 26 in the fall of 2018, which has really been good. We are currently at 16 this semester, and we'll be doing another comparison from spring to spring. And we are actually hoping that we can do more and be better. Unfortunately, at this point, almost half of the incidents we've received are related to employees. And what that means is time to meet with all the employees to talk about what is going on and to provide suggestions and recommendations on how they can address some of those issues. But the nice thing is, once we hear back from students that things have changed in the classroom, in the residence halls, or in some places, that means a lot, because it means the time and energy put to addressing those really pays off. And I always say one incident, even if it's directed to one student, it can affect many other students. But if the alleged perpetrators take the suggestions and recommendations and work on them, that impact also affects so many. And so we're really pleased with that. Kim mentioned DIAP. I had a 2-day retreat with DIAP back in 2016 to really realign their work to fit into the DEI strategic plan. So in addition to the diversity attribute that was approved by the College Council yesterday, the faculty information form now includes reference to faculty members' work related to DEI, and that is also published on the website and the We've had a number of trainings. We started off in 2017 were an NCBI training that the President's Council attended. 33 other faculty went through that. Student Affairs department went through that, so it includes all of Eric's area. And then we also had the Racial Equity Institute that 43 the President's Council and Leadership Forum members attended, and the follow-up from that now are caucuses that we've created. We've actually established 4 caucuses in respect to that, and moving forward, those participants will be working in those groups. We had an inclusive curriculum institute in collaboration with academic affairs, and several faculty staff went to that. We've also now established and rolling out trainings of LGBTQ plus trainings, and Kelly and Michael, who are co-gender and sexuality coordinators, have been facilitating sessions with DRAs, the Positive Diversity Ambassadors and Mentor Programs, the new cheers, secondary ed, and they also had a 2-hour sessions with the SOL classes in the community. We created a Title IX core team, and it's moving really well. The focus now is with respect to education, training and programming. And I think the last report that I sent you also saw a decline in reports in Title IX. So, and then we have our Days of Reflections that was established back in November of 2016 as a result of the blackface incident that we had back in August of 2016. Days of Reflection just wrapped up its 6th semester, and I can say at this point over 3,000 people have actually taken part in some shape or form through those different sessions, and more than 50 plus different topics have been facilitated through that. I remember that so vividly, and the conversations that we had with the president, the student groups, prior to establishing those. We created our Diversity Ambassadors and Mentor Program, thanks to a performance improvement funds from the student system to fund that program for 2 years, which will be wrapping up sometime soon, but we hope, even without the grant, that will be a solid foundation for that program to continue, because it's going to be really critical for our students. Then we looked at changes that have happened across campus, the entire student affairs, academic affairs, and the things that have been going on, as well as in the community. We work now with associated colleges and the Chamber of Commerce, community relations people across campus. Of course, one of them to organize our coffee with the colleges. We're still working to create one for this summer. We haven't done that yet. But I just wanted to highlight that a lot of things, I'm not going to go through everything I had here, because I said I wanted to do a quick summary, then I realized by the time I was done, I already had 4 pages. I'm like, this is not quick. But that's just to tell you how much has been going on. We've done a couple of updates, but this time around we'll do an electronic one so that people can go in at any time and see, and then we'll continue to update all of that information. But I really want to emphasize that the goal for the DDI was that it becomes part of the campus, and that everyone becomes a part of that journey. And that's why when we started working on the DDI strategic plan, we sent the draft copy to the campus, and we had open forum for feedback. And then we worked to make sure people understand how they could contribute to the goals. And today we've made a lot of progress, but we're not there yet. We have 133 strategies. We've touched on so many of them up to at this point 81. Some that things have happened, but it still needs to happen, still continue has to continue happening. But we want to acknowledge how far we've come, and the things that we're releasing that have changed on our campus. But we must always, I say, remember our journey. We must remember our history, and we must look at where we are, where we want to be 5 to 10 years down the road as far as this is concerned. And so that's something I wanted to add to the report that I shared with you today.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Thank you, Bernadette.
Thank you.
Is there any other business, be it old or be it new, to come before this body? Hearing none, I would remind all that the commencement is Saturday, May 18th. Hope to see you all there, and with that, the chair would, the acting chair, would entertain a motion that May 18, wait a second, Richard. May 18 be warm, sunny, and dry.
So moved.
Now, Richard, the motion which you're most fond.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
If we
We're
don't
outta
have
here.
a quorum, does this mean we can't adjourn? Well, thank you all. I know it's